Hola,
Hey, what's up?
¿cómo está?
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Bien.
Oh, okay. I'm going to transition now out
Thank
of
you.
Spanish.
That was the end of my Spanish speaking.
You remember the introduction and can count to 10, and that's about all you got?
Yep.
Sick. Well, we are recording this on Cinco de Mayo, so we just took a shot of tequila.
Jacob made tacos. They were delicious.
I did make tacos, yeah.
The tequila also wasn't really that bad.
It was top shelf tequila. Some Don Julio Reposado vodka, tequila. Reposado tequila.
That I spilled in my...
On your face a little bit?
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna say
dude.
beard, but it's not quite a beard.
Expensive.
My goatee.
Pretty good, though. Not a big tequila fan, but pretty good.
If you gotta drink tequila, you gotta drink the best tequila.
Fucking do it right. So in honor of Cinco de Mayo, we did not do a Mexican cryptid because we didn't want to offend anybody. That's going to be my reasoning for why we didn't do that.
And we've already done Chupacabra, so...
We'll have to revisit that one someday, probably.
Maybe next Cinco de Mayo.
Hey, probably
Did we do
not.
that
Who
on
knows?
Cinco de Mayo the first time? I doubt it.
No, we probably didn't have the foresight in season 1 to... No, it was episode
Barely
3.
have the
It was
foresight
episode
now.
3. Yeah, no shit. It was episode 3 that we did that, I think.
Would have dropped us anyway.
It was probably February, maybe March. Either way.
What cryptid are we going to cover today? Because it's not the Chupacabra.
No, it's hard to. I guess atmospheric beasts
Yeah, it's pretty
or atmospheric monsters, air whales, sky
Rods.
monsters, air rods.
We're talking about a lot of
We
rods.
can fucking veer off into a couple of different ways. Before we get too far into this, you just posted that Instagram poll.
Yes, I just posted it. And the Instagram poll for this week's episode is, are clouds cryptids?
That is a good question.
Go out there and vote on Instagram or Facebook stories.
I mean, you can't vote on that one now because it already happened.
But wait for the next one.
It's at the end of the yeah. Just go follow us on social media, and then you'll know.
Turn on those notifications.
Or follow us on Discord.
Definitely follow us on Discord, regardless.
Some cool people over there having some fun
Having
conversations.
some good chats for sure.
A lot of cryptid memes going on.
Yes.
Anyway, so atmospheric beasts. I mean,
Beasts of the atmosphere.
okay. This has been Counting Cryptids. Is that the joke that you do every time that I get mad about you doing?
Yep. Still good coming the other way. I'd also like to add real quick that it is Revenge of the 5th.
Oh, because tomorrow was May the 4th.
Yesterday was
Tomorrow?
May the 4th.
Wow. That's how time works, right? I wish it could be Saturday again.
Maybe.
Fuck. All right, so I guess atmospheric beasts is kind of like a wide, like a very broad term. There's not like...
Describes multiple things.
Yeah, sort of. So it's basically just giant creatures that live in Earth's atmosphere, either by weighing less than the atmosphere or by some other means of wingless flight.
Breaks physics.
Well, not really.
I mean, if
If it weighs less than the atmosphere
right.
or whatever, it's
They're
something to do with density.
helium-based beings.
So described in many shapes: jellyfish, whale, serpent, manta ray, just amoeba-like, in general, organic shapes. The shape of the creature seems to correlate with the movement in some instances. Like a serpent would be like more of an undulating sort of thing, and jellyfish would be more of like a pulsing in some instances.
But relatively sea-faring creatures. In their movements.
I think that's just because of the way that it moves, but you're not wrong. Because it's not like really what you would associate as existing in the sky, which is basically just birds.
Birds. Insects.
Or like, yeah, okay, insects, I suppose. Usually those come in quite the number of shapes and sizes.
Indeed.
Often described as fragile and suggested that they have a very light density when they are at altitude, but if they come too low, they become more dense and turn into like a pile of jelly that evaporates really quick. It's a super convenient way to like write off the question of why we don't have a body of one of them.
It disintegrated. What do you mean?
I think that's so that's. I'll get into that shit later. Hang on, I don't need to get ahead of myself.
Thanos came in, just you gone. Thank you.
So it's supposed to be seen often after a meteor shower. suggested that like
Yeah.
they just get fucked up by the meteors entering the atmosphere and just
Throws off
kills them.
their mojo, I guess.
It just hits them with it, and for like when they die, like I guess I didn't really mention this. They're pretty much invisible. Like you can't really see them unless they're like doing something specific or like
feeding.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hunting prey. Also saw that like the 20th century like radio signals that were given off disrupted them, making them easier to see in some places.
Yeah, that was from the 1975 book The Cosmic Pulse of Life, written by UFO author Trevor James Constable, who theorized that the UFO phenomena was not actually extraterrestrial technology, but, quote, colossal amoeba-like creatures that dwell in Earth's atmosphere. He went on to suggest that the creatures spend most of their life in, quote, low-density state, and were nearly invisible, but when they increased their density, they would become more visible. Suggested density increase would be while hunting or when dying or if they are too low in the atmosphere. He posed that radar devices of the 20th century somehow disturbed their density and made them slightly less invisible. He went on to offer that they were likely carnivorous and potentially responsible for animal mutilations as well as a large number of missing persons annually.
That's a big claim.
Fucking right, but he's a pretty well-established individual.
Scientific or
I believe
UFO journalist kind of guy. He called them critters.
Yes.
I was like, I'm mad about it. Like that's what you came up with?
Fucking
critters.
We got lost on like vacation to South Dakota, and my aunt kept referring. She's like, "Oh, you guys see any critters yet?"
And that's like the only time anybody has ever used the word critters in my life. It just kept happening. We were lost, and we like for like hours we were like lost in the car. And
this was the 90s, people.
My cousins kept asking like, "Are we there yet?" And her answer was, "We're getting closer," or something that was like ambiguous enough that she wasn't lying, but didn't imply that we were like nearly there and give us hopes of like, it was a bad. We got there. We were supposed to get there hours before. We didn't get in until like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, and nobody had eaten. So we like got there and just immediately started grilling.
Nice.
just a random house we were staying at. Just
Let's
grilling
go
at midnight. White trash as fuck.
Into it.
Okay, so I guess also individuals who have come into contact with these beings described it as feeling like a soft tongue and smelling like mildew.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting a Haunter vibe for all you Pokemon fans out there.
There's more Pokemon to come.
Oh, yes, there is.
But yeah, that's such a strange description of a mysterious. Like I would assume they're in like a blob form if humans are in contact with them.
I don't think it. I don't really understand because it didn't seem like it was. Because the jelly thing doesn't appear like it's the kind. No, it was. I believe it was a police officer
on his bicycle.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of these things that we talked about as being a atmospheric beast was like they're known as rods or Roswell rods.
That may or may not be a different thing, but they are sort of associated with one another.
Yeah. So anyway, the rods here's our tie back to Cinco de Mayo. Mexican film director Jose Escamilla, yeah, that's how you pronounce that. He presumably discovered back in 1994 some rods that he could not explain. He was recording a documentary outside of Roswell, New Mexico. So he got interested while we were trying to record this, like saw these things in his cameras, which we haven't mentioned. I guess they only seem to be visible with a camera.
Specifically, the Roswell rods, I believe. I've seen some suggestion that is more of like an issue with the developing film or just with the camera itself. I don't really know. I looked less into the rods.
I spent a lot of time looking at rods today, Jacob.
All right, Connor, what else you got about rods for me then?
So he took his video to be analyzed by some top-end people. Led him to believe that the insects were an unknown form of organic life only visible through a camera. So he wasn't per se saying there were anything too far out there, just some like
Just thought it was bugs that you
Yeah,
could, like,
insects.
Is the suggestion that like they're moving so fast that you can't see them with the naked eye, and you would just like occasionally pick them up on like a photo that was taken?
Right. So
That's fucking...
So after his discovery came forth, looking through these documentary scenes, I guess, a bunch of people sent photos and videos in. Some of them are trash, and some of them are not that bad. But pictures from New Mexico, Indiana, Connecticut, and then in films of the Iraq War contained rods from every camera. They also apparently left marks in Braveheart.
I would be really interested to see if like if you could have two cameras set up and like happen to capture it
in two different angles,
and the angles like have a camera facing east and a camera facing north or whatever, and you have one moving one direction, if that direction would correlate on both cameras, because that would be, in my mind, a kind of a way
definitive
to
figure out what it is
to it, at least, if
right.
not, you know what I mean. I don't know if that would prove it, but I want to say anytime they went to like replicate anything, they were never able to do so as far as like debunking it with cameras. There's a lot of ways to fake it, but as far as
puppetry and stuff like that,
and then you could add it in post and things like that, that would be much easier. But I think with the video is a lot harder to to fake.
The rods appear to be white in color and long, like the amoebas.
I think an amoeba is more of like a ball.
It's like a long amoeba where it's got the tentacles
like
around it. Yeah. But it's got like fins. I don't think they're fins.
Oh, I mean, maybe you did mean the word amoeba, and I'm just an asshole.
I mean, it's an amoeba.
Not bad.
Few inches to about 3 feet long. And like I said, they have fine membrane on both sides of their body that help them travel through the air like a cuttlefish, but apparently at supersonic speeds undetectable to the human eye.
That's so... These are weird, and I mean, if it's just a thing with the camera, then that's annoying, but if it's you can't like reproduce it without like physically having something there or adding it in post, you know?
Yeah.
It seems like, why would somebody go through the trouble of adding that to, like, if you're filming a movie and then you're like, well, this is weird, why is this happening? I don't know.
There was one that we watched, kind of like just getting into researching, that was that it almost looked like a flame or a
that
flare.
Video, yeah. I think that was, I don't know if that's a rod, because it was in frame, like it was a video where it just kind of sat there and was kind of moving a little bit. We'll post a link to that video if you get that link to me. It's this kind of
very weird.
It is strange, and I mean, the definition of UFO is just unidentified flying object, so that doesn't mean that it's
of
alien technology or even just like secret government technology. Just
you don't know what it is.
It is something that we don't know.
Well, we don't know. There's another type of variant of the atmospheric beast, which I saw we talked about a little bit. The jellyfish, sky jellyfish.
Yes.
Pretty much it's a jellyfish in the sky.
Okay.
They often look like clouds. A lot of the pictures I saw were just pretty sure they were just
fucking clouds.
But there are some that are like, that's pretty like detailed jellyfish, pretty straight lines for a cloud,
like very definitive.
Yes,
quite defined.
Very, very weird.
I think a lot of the time, from my understanding, they look a lot like clouds until all of the sudden they move very irregularly.
Yes.
And then it appears, and it holds its shape while it's moving in a way that seems odd. So is it like, God, what if fucking clouds are just sentient?
Are clouds cryptids?
Oh God, that was the question. Fuck.
We should answer that at the beginning, but we'll answer it what we think at the end after all of this. We go through all this research here.
We talked about it at the beginning before, but I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna talk about the Crawfordsville monster.
Okay.
maybe incident would be a different way to describe it. This one's kind of cool because I saw
said
it.
Crawfordsville creature.
Okay. I saw it described as a cyclops with an eye inside of its mouth, which is made up of 3 jaws.
3 jaws.
Which is fucking crazy. Sort of serpentine, a snake-like shape, an eel shape, and feathers on its side and back. That'll be a photo in the description. So on September 5th, 1891, Marshall McIntyre and Will Gray, 2 icemen, sighted something strange that hovered above them, describing it as a, quote, horrible apparition that filled them with dread. A similar sighting reported by Rev. G.W. Switzer of Methodist Church and his wife described it as having been 18 feet long, 8 feet wide, and moved rapidly through the air by means of several pairs of side fins. It was pure white and had no definitive shape or form, resembling somewhat a great white shroud fitted with propelling fins. There was no tail or head visible, but there was one great flaming eye, and a sort of wheezing plaintive sound that was emitted from the mouth when it was visible. It flapped like a flag in the wind as it came on, and frequently gave a great squirm as though suffering unutterable agony. Years later, a Crawford reporter by the name of Vincent Gaddis interviewed what must have been the whole town, and found the phenomena had been witnessed by hundreds of residents. The following night, on September 6th, some claimed they felt the monster's hot breath as it flew overhead. I'm not sure if it was the night of the 6th or the night after, but 2 locals, John Hornbeck and Abe Hernley, quote, followed the wraith about town and finally discovered it to be a flock of hundreds of killdeer, which is a bird.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, I didn't. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's a bird, but I gotta double check. The Crawfordsville Journal posted that newly installed electric lights could have disoriented the birds, causing them to hover above the city.
Sounds plausible.
I kind of, the eye is the only thing in there that
like
throws
what?
me.
The
However,
jaws?
there is some speculation that the Reverend never actually existed.
Oh.
And so fake news and clickbait have been around a lot longer than we thought.
Since
1891.
1891. I was going to say 1981. Much earlier.
So there's some suggestions that this one was like hurt or dying. There's some talk of it being injured or like making like it suffering, like it moved as if it was suffering unutterable agony and the way that it made sound. So some people thought that it was injured or something.
Okay, so we talked about last episode people knowing what owls look like.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was large swarms of birds back in 1891.
It's not like your first time seeing a bunch
my
of
first
birds
time,
flying
like,
around.
Yeah, I see like a large flock of birds. I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of birds, like all at once. There might be something going on. But I've never been like, holy fuck, that is a sky creature other than a bird.
2 guys see it. I mean, it's late at night.
It is, yeah.
I have the actual article reported from on September 7th, 1891 in the Crawford Journal.
Right.
I fucking found and retyped all of that. I'll link to the actual article in the description. There's maybe a quote in here I wanted to read, but it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when the icemen saw it. Just, I don't know what the delivery
2
ice.
a.m., yeah. Maybe cutting ice? Don't know. They're doing iceman things, dog. But yeah, I don't think that they'd be alarmed by a large flock of birds, and unless there was a hole in the swarm of birds and the sun was directly there.
But it's 2 in the morning. The sun's not going to be up
that's
at
fair.
the moon. But I think they described it as being red, right? Is that what I said?
Yeah, red eye.
Flaming eye.
Red eye.
So I guess I'll read the account, like the direct from the article real quick. It was called "Squirmed Like a Serpent." Crawford's nameless aerial specter, also seen by minister and wife, seemingly headless and propelled by fins. It swam its irregular way through the air and filled its beholders with awe. That's how 1891's people read.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm there.
A strange sight seen by Marshall McIntyre and Will Gray, 2 icemen, last Saturday morning about 2 o'clock continues to be the talk of the people of this city. The men are very positive they actually witnessed something that is yet to be accounted for. Their story, in brief, as told by McIntyre, was that when they were in the barn hitching up their teams, a strange sensation of awe and dread came over them. Looking up, McIntyre saw the horrible apparition coming towards him from the west. The shape was over 100 feet above the ground and looked to be about 20 feet long and 8 feet wide, as it moved rapidly through the air by means of several pairs of fins. The men claimed that it did not seem to have a head, and when it got immediately over the residence of Mr. Martin, their employer, it commenced to turn around in circle where it remained some time. The men took safety in the barn, from which they viewed the phenomena. It then sailed off towards the east, but very soon returned, and the men drove away to the ice house. When they returned, it was gone.
Too bad they didn't have cameras back in 1891.
The Reverend reported having seen it between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, so roughly 1 hour before the Icemen.
He's not a very reputable source, as he might not exist.
Initially, he said that it very much resembling a mass of floating drapery.
It's a ghost.
It's a flock of birds with like a sheet with like 2 eye holes poked in it. Or just 1 eye hole, sorry.
One's got a flashlight. It's red flashlight. Oh, man.
Also, so there was one other thing noted in the original article here. I'm going to read again from that article. There are other persons who were out at about the same time, and they all noticed that the birds were chirping as if in distress, and say that a peculiar sensation would come over them every few minutes, like as if they felt that something was going to swoop down upon them.
Okay.
This has no mention of birds in this article other than...
Does that mean like acting weird?
Just birds that are out? Because it seems weird for birds to be chirping at 1 a.m.
Birds are doing bird things. I don't know. I'm not usually up at 1 a.m, so I don't listen for
I'm
birds.
not either, but they don't start chirping until the sun comes up, really. I think they go to
be
bed.
Bats?
Bats don't make the same sound as birds.
Fair.
And maybe this thing just eats birds.
Oh.
Birds fly high.
Carnivorous, apparently.
Allegedly.
Is that... I don't know what to think of that.
So we're talking about that one maybe being injured. I guess I'll get into when they die.
Yeah. Tell me about when they die.
So when they die, they fall to Earth as a, quote, gelatinous mass that may resemble a green, purple, gray, or iridescent jelly that evaporates into nothing within minutes, hours, or at the longest, a few days. This is allegedly explaining star jelly, if you have any idea what that is. A, quote, gelatinous substance sometimes found on grass or even branches of trees. According to folklore, it is deposited on the Earth during meteor showers. Star jelly is described as a translucent grayish-white gelatin that tends to evaporate shortly after having, quote, fallen. Explanations have ranged from the materials being the remains of frogs, toads, and worms to the byproducts of cyanobacteria to the paranormal.
It's a gay frog.
Reports of the substance date back to the 14th century and have continued to present day. I also saw a lot about frog spawn, but apparently no frog spawn has ever been reported near the size of some of these masses.
What is a frog spawn? I have an idea, but I don't know the definition.
Let me... so it's like when they lay eggs,
okay,
they lay it in jelly-like clumps.
Yeah, they all clump together. Got it. That's what I was thinking.
Toads lay it in what looks like long strips. Frogs are more just like blobs of fucking eggs. It's just like bleh.
Yeah.
Just bleh.
I think they talked about that in that MU episode.
Yeah, they did.
We should bring that up because that was a great episode.
Yeah, I do actually have some stuff from a Mysterious Universe article I'm going to be reading shortly as well.
Oh, good. I probably do as well.
So, a couple of accounts of this star jelly substance. This is all. It
sounds like
a fucking Wikipedia,
like a KB jelly,
a KY jelly. You don't know anything about lube, do you, Connor?
No, I don't.
On the 11th of November, 1846, a luminous object estimated at 4 feet in diameter fell at Louisville, at Lowville, New York, leaving behind a heap of foul-smelling luminous jelly that disappeared quickly, according to Scientific America. In 1950, 4 Philadelphia, Pennsylvania policemen reported discovering a doomed disc of quivering jelly, 6 feet in diameter, 1 foot thick at the center, and an inch or two near the edge. When they tried to pick the blob up, it dissolved into an odorless, sticky scum. The incident inspired the 1958 movie The Blob. On the 11th of August, 1979, Sybil Christian of Frisco, Texas, reported the discovery of several purple blobs of goo on her front yard, following a meteor shower. A follow-up investigation by reporters and an assistant director of the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History discovered a battery processing plant outside of town where caustic soda was used to clean impurities from the lead in the batteries, resulting in a purplish compound as its byproduct. The report was greeted with some skepticism, however, as the compounds at the processing plant were solid, whereas the blobs on Christian's lawn were gelatinous. Others, however, pointed out that Christian had tried to clear them off her lawn using a garden hose. On December 1983, grayish-white oily gelatin fell on North Reading, Massachusetts. Thomas Grinley reported finding it on his lawn, on the streets and sidewalks, and dripping from gas station pumps.
It's everywhere.
All over the place. It seems like it's probably not frog spawn in most instances.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't think frog spawn just like melts in your hand and turns into sticky jelly if you try to pick it up.
I think it's just gross.
Also 6 feet wide and a foot deep in the middle. That's a lot of frog spawn, baby.
Sick. That's over my head. I'm drowning in frog spawn.
December in Massachusetts.
Cold.
Assuming that's cold.
I would say, yeah.
I don't think that's breeding season for frogs.
Not particularly a good time for
and
breeding.
November of 1846 was the one in New York that disappeared quickly. Oh, those two were actually different. That disappeared. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind.
Both sound like two times that are not cold. Or that are not
2 times
warm
where
enough for them to do it.
There's one in August, but that was the one where
Still pretty
they were
late.
talking about the battery processing plant. You have something?
So frogs don't lay eggs in the winter, but they do lay eggs in the spring, summer, and sometimes early fall.
So unlikely November. By December, there's no way they should be.
Probably not, no.
Unlikely that it is frog spawn in these instances.
Quite. What that is, I don't know.
I mean, and it's interesting that in like the folklore that it's after meteor showers, since we talked about them potentially getting destroyed by meteors as they come down.
Some sort of plasma from a meteor? Have to be moving pretty fast to produce a plasma.
Well, I mean, just it being, because in folklore it's just like, yeah, like this is just it happens after a meteor shower. It's remnants of that. But if in actuality there is something that just exists that then gets hit by a meteor and killed, and then that falls to the earth, and then is this jelly? This one is, it's weird.
It's very weird. Might be one of the weirdest ones we've covered.
Is there just jellyfish that live in the sky? I need to like start looking in the sky more.
I will say, and I said this to you earlier, there was a very surprising amount of information about these atmospheric beasts.
There's a lot of fucking stories. We'll get it. I don't know.
I've got a few.
Okay.
But, the first one is what I'm calling the Gibati incident. On April 27th in 1961, scientific journalist Bruno Gibati was driving along the highway that runs adjacent to the Monte Silvano beach in Italy when his tire popped. While he was changing his tire, he noticed a multi-winged object flying towards him at an incredible velocity. Somehow he reached for his camera and took a picture of the creature, which will be in the show notes. It looks kind of like a shark.
Is that the one that looks like a whale?
It's not the whale's ass. I've got that
not
one
the whale's
later.
ass? Okay.
But this it's the one with the weird fins.
Oh, the one that looks
like a torpedo with fins.
There's another photo that I saw right after this one that I will be linking to a photo of because it looks like Latios and Latias.
Yeah, that was the next one in my stories.
More Pokemon for you. Okay, how about you hit that story if you're not done with the first one that I interrupted?
That was about it. I just took a picture of it. It's on the internet. This looks like a painting.
That one looks like an airplane.
It does look quite like an airplane. In 1961,
there is
plausible.
That painting of it, but the painting looks a lot like the photo.
Yes, the painting is the
It looks
one
like
that I have
a
linked.
sort of strange aircraft, but whatever.
It's very strange. So the Latias or Latios photo, while much is not known about the story, the picture is pretty strange. It looks like it could be like an X-wing fucking fighter. Like
it's weird. I mean, sort of amoeba-esque also.
Yeah, this one. The article I read described it as a stubby squid.
Okay, yeah. It looks kind of like an aircraft, but it looks so non-aerodynamic.
Yeah, it looks like Latios or Latias. Some of the witnesses from that photo, that time, that incident, reported there being lights along the base of the creature. This one was in July of 1999 by an Italian, sorry, for our Italian listeners. I hear they hate when they say Italian.
Oh, actually?
Because Heather and Rob yell at me all the time about it.
Okay, but they're not like Italian.
Yeah, you're right.
They're American.
That's why it annoys me so much when they do it.
Also, I feel like anything that... Never mind.
It's Italy, not Italy.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Who the fuck says it's not Italy?
I mean, everybody. Nobody pronounces it idly.
Why don't they?
Because that's not how it's pronounced.
That's
My sister says Italian too, and I just I throw her so much shit for that.
I say idly. They're like, it's pronounced idly.
Italian, but I say it idly.
Italian, idly. I say them both.
I say Italian
just to piss them off.
Just use them both incorrectly.
Yeah. I gotta stay consistent. Yeah. Let's get on to the whale's ass.
The whale's
photo.
ass. Yes.
So in 1973, on the afternoon of November 3rd, a Mexican banker and his family spied a strange object flying over Cocoyoc, Mexico. I hope that's how you pronounce that. The wife said the object was roundish and didn't resemble any aircraft that she knew of. The family pulled over to take a better look at the creature. As they were exiting the vehicle, the thing blazed through the sky. Luckily, the banker captured a photo just before it left the area, and the photo is just the sky with a black dot, and somebody had zoomed it in, and it looks like the backside of a whale.
It does kind of look like a whale swimming away,
or a blimp.
It definitely also kind of looks like a blimp or a balloon, but I mean it does really look like a whale too.
Looks like you're looking directly at the tail of a whale.
Just
straight up the whale's ass.
Ayo. I mean, if it bubbles like a whale, Connor,
then it must be an atmospheric beast.
Caught me off guard.
That's what I'm here for. Well, you got any stories?
That was the other one I had in my notes.
I took it from you.
That's fine.
That's really all I got for stories.
There's no shortage of
no,
stories.
There's not.
Most of them are pretty basic and just real quick little
snippets of.
There's a lot of those little ones. I think a lot of the ones that you had were from that a Mysterious Universe article that I'm going to be linking to. Find that article name. Atmospheric Monsters Attack was the article.
Ah, yes. That is where I got
did
those.
a pretty good podcast.
Yeah.
21.9?
21.9, I believe, yes.
Double check that episode number real quick, but I would also, if this is something that is interesting, that you're interested
2109.
In, season 21, episode 9 of Mysterious Universe.
Check that out. So it's a good one. Not to plug another podcast, but if you're going to listen to another podcast, listen to Mysterious Universe. Did we talk about UFOs?
We not
per se.
Really. We kind of led up into it a little bit.
A lot of people think that they're UFOs.
I mean, define UFO at this point then.
Extraterrestrial craft of some sort. I've also saw extra dimensional Is that how you say that?
Interdimensional.
Yes, an
extraterrestrial
interdimensional craft or a creature.
I mean, a lot of the photos look a lot like a flying saucer with like lights coming out of them, but also it resembles a jellyfish.
Yes, and Carl Sagan proposed that some kind of astrobiological balloon-like beast might be soaring through the skies of massive gas giants such as Jupiter.
Was it Carl Sagan?
Yes.
Did you literally just say that?
Literally just said that.
That's embarrassing.
It's okay, you had your mouth open.
So I was so according to NASA, this is about specifically atmospheric jellyfish. The creatures may be a result of space debris reflecting off of the northern lights in some instances, which kind of seems like that MIB swamp gas thing, you know?
Yeah, that seems sus.
But NASA has also launched 60,000 jellyfish into Earth's orbit during their From Underseas to Outer Space experiment.
I just imagine cannons with jellyfish inside. Just here we go.
I don't know the validity of that. I'd never heard of this before.
Slingshotting
From
jellyfish.
the underseas to outer space. So they're just like launching animals into space. Be like, maybe it will live.
Maybe it's a good
I think
idea
they
to
probably,
decrease the budget for
They
NASA.
probably like took it on a spaceship, not just like launched it from a cannon or like sent it up to the.
It's a t-shirt cannon full of jellyfish.
Okay, so this video describes the life science experiment conducted on the science lab. Life is Science's mission flown on the space shuttle. More than 2,000 jellyfish were sent in space for a study of how living things adapt to microgravity environment of Earth's orbit. Scientists examined how microgravity affects the development of young jellyfish, especially their gravity receptors. The gravity receptors of jellyfish serve a purpose similar to the inner ear of human beings for balance and orientation, from NASA's website.
Interesting.
So I don't know if 60,000 jellyfish is actually the number. NASA said 2,000. I don't know. I don't think they're just launching them like and seeing if they fucking just what they do. You know what I mean?
Take off.
That one didn't float. Shoot another.
We've got 20,000 more of these.
20,162. 20,163.
There's just a guy scribbling in the corner like
just tally marks.
Nothing. Dr. Charles, this was absurd. By the way, they're not dragons. What we were talking about today are not dragons.
Okay, yeah. Some serpent-esque ones kind of resemble a dragon in the fact that they don't really have wings.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So now that I'm thinking about a sky whale, I'm just thinking of that Magic Leap shit. Do you remember that? It's like the...
No.
mean...
Magic Leap, is that a video game?
No, it's like a fucking video game but real life. So I think you have to wear like a headset in order to see it, but it's like VR shit.
Okay.
But it was the way that they advertised it was just like they were in a gymnasium full of children and they weren't like wearing special eyewear or anything, but there was just like a whale like swimming through the fucking air in the gymnasium. Like that was
like a hologram.
Not real. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that video. That shit was crazy. I think you have to have some sort of headset on for it. I'm not 100% sure, but it was I think when they were hiring people, the way that they worded it was like magicians wanted and shit like that, or maybe wizards. I don't remember what it was.
Wizards wanted.
Yeah, man, it was fucking. It's some cool ass shit either way. But
I mean, people do like say that certain organizations are projecting shit into the atmosphere. Don't know that these fall into that category because they turn into gelatinous blobs.
So there was a jellyfish anomaly of Petrosavodka.
Yeah.
Petrosavodsk. It was first documented sighting of atmospheric jellyfish. That was cited by hundreds of local people in above the skies of that place that I'm not going to try to fucking pronounce again in Russia on September 20th, 1977. I don't know. There's a photo of this one I can link to as well. It just looks like a UFO, but apparently hundreds of people saw it. And UFO, I keep fucking saying, because it is sort of an unidentified flying object in this instance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another report of one in 1998 in China, Russia, Italy, The Americas,
all over the world.
It's fucking everywhere. This is a thing in different shapes and sizes and smells. I guess I don't fucking know.
I think a lot of these. So I looked at a lot of the rods research and stuff, and a lot of those are camera only things. Like those are just camera phenomena. I think most of these are like naked eye encounters.
Some of them, I think it's the kind of thing where they see something and take a photo real quick. That one that you had said in Mexico, they saw it and it like whizzed past, and he got the camera out just in time to get a photo of it before it was too far gone.
So it's coming out of its invisible phase into reality and veiling.
So I don't know. Maybe if it moves like really, really fast, it changes its density to move at quicker speeds or something.
Okay.
Or just when it does that, there's some sort of like bioluminescence associated with that. I don't know if that's the same. I saw one. I'll try to remember to link to a picture of it. Kind of had that sort of cuttlefish sort of motion to it, or maybe like a manta ray sort of thing, like almost like water wings for lack of fucking fins. I don't know. Whatever word people would call that shit.
Name in zoology or something.
Yeah, right. Oh god damn it! Now I gotta fucking think of what I was gonna say about it. Apparently he didn't see it really. He like saw it, just like he thought it was a cloud, and he's like, oh, that's a weird looking cloud, and like, he happened to be a photographer, and he just like was taking pictures anyway, so he like took a couple of pictures, and then it wasn't until later he was like looking at it and kind of zoomed in, and it has a very weird shape to it. I'll link to that photo as well. It's just some weird ass shit, and I'm kind of bothered to the core by it, even though it doesn't really affect me in any fucking way.
Well, you want to hear something that'll affect you in some sort of way?
Please.
In 2012, British scientists from the University of Sheffield discovered tiny space bugs in Earth's atmosphere following the Perseids meteor shower.
That was the same one from that one lady's yard.
So they sent up a balloon and like captured these on camera, and then brought the balloon down, and the bugs were on the balloon.
What kind of bugs?
I
bugs
don't
shouldn't be
know.
Up that high. First of all, there's a limit of how high bugs can go. Like you can pass that limit in a skyscraper. Like if you have a fly inside of a building, it can fly to the top floor, but if it flies out the window, it can't fly. Because of the air pressure or density or whatever the fuck that is. So like it goes out, and like there's a point where it can't fly. I don't know if it's like 4 stories up or something, depending on the bug. But inside a building, I'm relatively certain they can just like do whatever, but they can't.
Yeah,
they can't go out.
That's crazy. And they fly like hundreds of miles and stuff. Like birds and bugs migrate.
Would you have anything else about those bugs?
I don't have anything about the bugs
like
other
terrestrial
than
bugs.
They were not. The scientists insist that the samples couldn't be from the Earth's surface because of their strict tests to avoid contaminations.
So isn't that proof of extraterrestrial life at that point? Like, what are we still having this conversation for? 7 years later?
I don't know. That's a good question.
So is that? I mean, do you think these things are extraterrestrial in any capacity? Whether that means that some of like
they floated from Jupiter,
or just like existed in some sort of space
vacuum
thing,
area.
And they just move through there and then get stuck in the Earth's atmosphere, or is it a spaceship of some sort?
I've got to say that
can they make a fucking spaceship that's like alive, like travel inside a jellyfish?
I don't see why not.
Jesus
like
Christ.
Biological mechanism. So I want to say that the one that what's his name now? The Jose Escamilla.
Yeah.
The ones that he saw, I think, were just bugs, moths, flying through the frames. I mean, you don't catch them by eye because they're so small and they go by quick. But the flapping of the wings makes that amoeba-like wave on the outside of the creature, and it moving so fast, like
it has to do with the frame rate of the camera,
exactly,
and the speed of the.
And this was like
wings.
in like 1960 or something.
So presumably limited range on adjusting frame rate without having like a super super expensive camera.
And even they were limited to the best of their abilities. Like we have better cameras than they ever had in our phones.
And everybody still gets really really shitty UFO and cryptid photos.
Yeah. I think it's a giant conspiracy that Samsung and Apple all just sit back and just like flag photos and just like erase parts out of there.
I think the only people who cryptids expose themselves to are people who still use like an old like a Motorola fucking brick phone, or
he's
like
got a Motorola, don't worry about it.
I don't.
Bigfoot's peeking out from behind a bush.
Bigfoot's fucking he needs to upgrade his fucking mobile plan. He's got to switch to Boost Mobile.
I'm on an AT&T and
Not
I
a
can't
sponsor.
get Could be.
As I peek out all levels. I don't think I want to sponsor Boost Mobile. I feel like if we were going to fucking sell out and sponsor something, I'd want to be like, at least it's something I believe in. I.e. Cryptid Crate, wearing a Cryptid Crate shirt again today. Not a sponsor, but definitely could be. Connor wearing his...
the same shirt I wear every episode. If you want to send your cryptid shirts to me, I wear a size medium.
So... do you think it is terrestrial is not the word that I want to use, because to me terrestrial is like on the ground, but
yeah,
fish aren't like on the ground but are terrestrial beings. So if it only exists in the sky,
aquatic
it is
beings.
It's from the earth. It is terrestrial. That is the definition. Yes, is a terrestrial being would be land based. Okay, fine. But in the sense of that it is from the earth.
Yes,
this is
originates on this planet. Yeah. I really like the idea. Like, I've seen depictions of people's thoughts of what animals would look like on gas giants floating around. Like Carl Sagan said, they didn't seem invisible, but it's a very interesting concept. I don't believe that could exist, but who the fuck am I to say that it couldn't?
Well, and I saw some arguing as well that like we know that there are a lot of unidentified species in the oceans. Because there's a lot of the ocean that is undiscovered and uncharted, and just, stuff moves around down there too. So like you can't just be like, cool, I went through there was nothing there. It's like, okay, well,
2 hours later,
there was a fucking... So it is argued that less of the sky than has been, and it depends on how up you would go to the atmosphere or whatever, and you have a lot of pilots flying around all the time and stuff too, but like there's definitely flight paths, and they have like certain heights that they go to. Plus, if these things are mostly translucent or mostly invisible or whatever,
I'm not gonna see them.
Unlikely.
Yeah, you would be surprised though.
Pilots have some fucking crazy ass stories anyway, and I'm sure that there was a number of fucking instances of people in planes and pilots in planes reporting these.
I would really like to know if there's any like airplanes that have landed with jelly on them. Ooh. Like they just hit one. Is that turbulence? Damn it.
Turbulence is just you running over...
just space road... or air roadkill.
Yeah. I am searching for star jelly on airplane, and I am just getting like little kid backpacks with airplanes on them. I do not need to hear about you joining the Mile High Club, though.
Where are you at? What do you think?
Did you answer? Do you think it's terrestrial? Is it from Earth or from outer space?
If
or
they're real...
Do you think it's a ship or a living thing?
Fuck. I don't like putting in this.
Something is fucking being seen, and whether or not the star jelly is an explanation, it seems like it could be associated with it, and that's like... Because it doesn't seem like every instance of that is frog spawn, for sure.
I think I've made it clear in this podcast that I have no fucking idea, nor do I have any
we never
sort
really
of
have any idea, but I'm just
knowledge.
Like, hey,
yeah.
If you're leaning one way or the other...
I'm just gonna lean towards Jupiter.
So you think it's like some sort of interplanetary creature?
Why couldn't there be super intelligent, floating, invisible fucking...
now?
Why the fuck not? I don't know. Intelligent enough to make it from Jupiter to Earth. If that's technologically advanced entities, I don't know, but maybe they've somehow been able to traverse space advanced. So in Star Wars, there's these like space whales that fly around. That's what I'm just picturing. It's in Star Wars Rebels, the animated TV show.
Oh. So when the two planets are at the Earth and Jupiter at their closest point, the distance to Jupiter is only 365 million miles.
From to Jupiter?
Yeah.
to Jupiter.
Earth to Jupiter, 365 million miles.
Oh, that's a distance.
At their closest, when their orbits like line up. Which is 6.2089 light years. Nope. Because there's an E at the end of that. I don't know what the fuck this number is.
It's a ways away.
So you're going with
I'm going with
interplanetary in some capacity from a gas giant or something. It's just like a creature that lives on a different planet that somehow made its way to Earth.
Yeah, and I believe that there's quite a bit of helium in Jupiter's atmosphere. So they would be lighter than helium or the same buoyance as helium in
which is lighter
Jupiter,
than air, of course.
Lighter than air, so they're going to be higher in the altitude on Earth. Not that that is helping my case at all.
Don't you think that... Oh, fuck. Yeah, don't you think there would be, like, a lot of people, like, climbing mountains getting snatched by these things then if they're carnivorous?
I mean, who says they're not, dude?
I mean, people go missing, but...
411 files, man.
You think 411?
I wonder if he's ever looked into this. What's his name?
Yeah, fucking sky jellies.
Hey, man, I got an answer to your book. Sky jellies.
It's a really deep topic, and there's a lot to fucking go into. It's hard to know
Narrow
like
it
where
down.
to fucking go on this. Like
Even where to draw the line.
yeah, I mean, then you talk about rods and shit. Like that's definitely not like it's definitely related. But the two are associated with one another. It's fucking hard. I'm gonna go with they are from Earth.
Okay.
I don't think that they're machines. I'm sure some instances maybe is more of like an aircraft of some kind.
So they evolved from single-cell organisms into some sort of floating creature.
Okay, I don't know anything about reproduction. What if they just like exist? They just always have been.
Will God exist? Are they gods?
It's just a glimpse of God.
He just
I'm not
turns into
religious.
jelly? Yes, Jacob, I
It
am.
just turns the jelly is just.
This is my blood.
The blood of Christ shed for you. It's definitely frog spawn.
They're calling it frog spawn. Can you believe that? I will smite thee.
I think I'm landing on it being a thing, man.
I really
don't
like
think
the idea.
Every instance is like it, but there's some really compelling. There's some photos that are weird, and it definitely doesn't look like a cloud.
Yeah.
And then there's some videos like that one that you showed me specifically. That's that weird
wavy
light
flame thing.
And I know like there's like electrical interference and like weird light, like ball lightning and weird lightning phenomena and shit that exists in nature. Whether or not that be something else fucking doing it too, but if we know it's a thing that just happens, then I'm sure it's a thing.
Or
but
electric eels.
it seemed that video. How long did that video go for?
Like a minute and a half.
They
at
saw
least.
it with their eyes, and then fucking were taking videos. They were
camera
talking about everything
shifted.
that's happening. They're fucking. That one was weird.
Very weird.
There'll be several links to those sorts of things in here. I can't really make heads or tails of this, but it kind of seems, and with the fucking star jelly being a thing from like the 14th century that's been documented, and they associated it with meteors, and we have multiple accounts from the same meteor shower, not the same year, but the same annual meteor shower,
Right.
or I don't know how many years separated it is from one to the next, but
How does that not make you think it's an extraterrestrial?
it's not extraterrestrial if it's just in the atmosphere.
They're traveling amongst the.
What if they just live on meteors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hop off.
Okay. So every celestial body. So you have like Mother Nature, you have Earth, like Gaia shit.
Okay.
Where like so it's like the Earth has a soul. So if all celestial bodies have like an essence, then every meteor that comes into contact then is like cool. That's the essence of this fucking rock, and it's just this creature that exists. So then you have many different forms, and some of them die when they come in, and some of them don't. I don't know. I'm drunk, and I'm some bullshit theory.
The meteors that fall off the comet are small parts of that comet.
Yeah.
So they all get their own.
I mean, not necessarily. Like a whole thing could smash up in the atmosphere and turn into small pieces, or if it's just like a big enough chunk of it or a specific piece of it. I don't fucking know. I'm not writing a movie.
Why not?
Because I'm not a film producer. All right. Another weird idea. Could this be some sort of like bacteria or something on a lens? Like, you know, when you can like see stuff on your eyeball?
Yeah.
Because that's not like, you know what I mean? It's on your eye. If there's something on the lens, I know that there's some that have been debunked as like hairs and dust and shit on like a camera lens specifically for like rods.
Yeah.
But like it's hard to say if they're fucking moving and like lighting up. I don't think that's the case, but I guess I feel like
and the stories behind them are never just like I took a picture and they're just like some of them are like I took a picture and it just happened to be in here, but a lot of them were like I saw something and I took a picture, or something happened and I took a picture.
And if you capture it on film and you see it with your eye, it's not like it's going to be something on your eye or something on the lens if you saw it in both. If you saw it
through
with your eye and then
mediums,
you saw it in the photo, yes. Through both mediums, yes. Good way to put that.
I try to act smart once in a while. I really like the idea of there just being like, I want to think of them as gentle, but then that guy was like, they're carnivorous and they eat people.
Gentle in the form that they're fragile.
Right.
But I don't.
Apparently they eat humans and shit.
Fucking that's well, but from my understanding of it too is like they can't come that low, otherwise there's an issue with them like getting back up.
Yeah,
maybe that's not the case. I was under the impression like if they came too low,
they get too dense and they
fall. Get stuck and then they turn into jelly.
Yeah.
On that Mysterious Universe podcast, we talked about there was an instance of like one that appeared to be injured like on the ground, and another one came
like on a hill or something.
Another one like came to like
revive it or
try and help it out or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like it happened over
that's the one that sticks out the most to me.
Really, really weird. I really wish I would have fucking found that whole story and included that too. But I mean, it's some weird ass shit. Do you think? Where are you at? What do you think? Anything? Final thoughts?
I want it to be real.
Do you think it is?
No.
I don't like this a lot.
It's really hard when you have so many different sightings of like a similar thing. A lot of them are vastly different in appearance, but so are humans. I don't know. There's
a lot of different animals that exist that none.
It's a lot of open space up there. Why not?
And if they are very difficult to see anyway,
yeah,
I'm into it.
Plus with cloud cover.
What if it just is clouds? What if clouds are things?
Or like sentient, or like I would be down with that.
Sentient mist is also a fucking cryptozoological phenomena, I believe.
Next week on Counting Cryptids.
No, probably not.
The two mists against each other.
Yeah.
I put in my notes here. Is it bullshit or aliens?
Yeah.
First note, it's aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. I don't think it's extraterrestrial, or I mean, guy, it's so hard if you start talking about extraterrestrial and interdimensional shit too, because interdimensional is just so fucking
could be
open-ended, man.
Yeah.
This seems like there's not people that are just in the sky. They're in airplanes and stuff where you wouldn't like be able to physically interact with it, and you're already moving so fast you just like blow right through it. And I mean, apparently they can move pretty quick too. So
yeah, most of the ones that I had were like super fast, super high.
And some of the debunking doesn't seem fantastic either.
No, the only real debunking that I saw that was believable was about the rods and the moths flying through past camera lenses.
And from undersea to outer space, just
launching squids into space.
Jellyfish launcher, yeah. Just because of like how little being difficult to see, and how little like if it's so high up you can't see it. Like you're like, cool, I'm gonna look through a telescope during the day. You don't do that.
No.
And even if you did, if it's not able to be seen, you're not gonna fucking see it. So it's a pretty rare phenomena, even though there are so many sightings.
I would like to say people probably look through the telescope quite a bit during the day.
Yeah, I feel like telescopes,
celestial bodies that are out during the day when the sun, like,
what's out during the day? You can see the moon.
Are you saying you can't see? There's not stars out there when it's sun time? Well, yeah, you can, dude. Different planets, Mars.
Maybe at certain times of year you're able to see Mars during the day, but I don't. It's so bright out. I don't think you can.
November, December,
because
times
those are
when
planets, they don't emit light. They're in the same solar system. It's just reflecting light.
Yeah, but it's similar to the way the moon reflects light.
But the moon's faint as fuck during the day.
The moon is,
and it's so much closer.
An alien spaceship monitoring the Earth.
Okay, so the sun, the moon, the planet Venus, Earth orbiting satellites, planet Mars, sometimes, not all of the time, stars during an eclipse, daytime comets, daytime meteors, daytime supernova. These are 10 celestial bodies, 10 space objects you can see during the day. You can't see stars. They would have to be so much brighter than our sun, and it's so far away.
But you can see all those things. There'd be a reason to look through a telescope.
You can see them at night. You can't. The planet Mars is only like in 2018 when it was so fucking close to the Earth, you could see it during the day.
You could touch it with your hand.
What?
So close you could touch it with your hand.
I don't understand what reference you're trying to make.
I don't know. Maybe if you're Michael Jordan from the Space Jam.
Oh my god. I saw something like a conspiracy theory that his like retirement from basketball was in lieu, like the league was going to suspend him for his gambling thing. Mm-hmm. So he decided to retire instead, so that didn't have to all come out, and then he went and played baseball instead because that was owned, like there's like the same owner or whatever. Oh. Somebody was like the same fucking thing, so then he just like went and played baseball there for all those years instead. So it was as like, so he could still be making money for that guy and doing something.
Yeah, like, it's a huge publicity stunt. Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of like turning it into like, cool, I'm getting suspended for this whole gambling thing.
My career's going to shit.
He retires, goes and plays baseball for a couple of years until his suspension would have been lifted. Then he decides to come out of retirement and go back to playing basketball. So Space Jam was only made because, or like, it was a lie. He didn't like just want to play fucking baseball more than basketball.
Are you saying Space Jam is a lie?
I am saying Space Jam is a lie.
Ooh,
Bugs Bunny does not exist.
F in chat. Bugs Bunny doesn't exist. How could you?
All right, Connor, if I'm going to do Cowboys, you can fucking argue that Bugs Bunny exists.
I will. I've seen him. Jacob. Easter 2003. I don't know if that was...
Tell me it was Bugs Bunny. I thought it was Easter Bunny.
It was a bunny man. Easter, Bugs Bunny, Easter man, same thing. Easter man, Easter Bunny.
I wonder if we could fucking get somebody in to hypnotize you and have you fucking...
I thought about doing that, but it sounds so scary. I don't want to know some of this shit.
You wouldn't know it. I'd know it.
I don't want you to know that shit. Okay, if there's one person I would have to trust with that information, it'd be Jacob.
I would put it all over the internet.
I want 50%.
No, I'm saying, okay, so we'll take stuff in and like to a hypnotist for the show, and we'll record you getting hypnotized and try and relive that event and see what happens.
I don't think I could be hypnotized. We've talked about this before.
So it's you have to allow yourself to be susceptible, and there's kinds of people that are more susceptible. I think you just have to
relax and
allow
let it
yourself
happen.
to do. I think it's like there's one of those things that's like I'd want to try to fight it because it's like there's some creepiness to like hypnotizing sort of things, but like if you're there, like you know what I mean. It's like I can sort of. I think I could allow myself to like. I think you just kind of like go along with it until it just like becomes like a thing and it just happens.
I feel like I'd have to be in the sensory deprivation chamber.
I mean, we just get you really, really high first.
Okay, oh man.
I'm in. Yeah. Last week we did the Flatwoods Monster, Green Monster, whatever. So who do you think would win in a 1v1 between an atmospheric beast?
That's weird because they both come around comets, meteors, showers.
And the Flatwoods Monster.
Maybe they're two in the same thing.
I'm so confused by the one with the eye and like being described as having 3 jaws.
Yeah, I don't know how to even like...
Eye in the mouth.
That was one person? Or multiple people?
I didn't have like a direct witness quote of that.
Somebody said
did see it somewhere. And there's like depictions. There's like a rendition of that looks like it'd be like a fucking like a Yu-Gi-Oh card or some shit, you know? Like something from Magic the Gathering or something. I'll link to that. I don't... A lot of fucking sites use that same image too as like Yeah, this is the Crawford County monster, Crawfordsville monster, whatever it was. Crawfordsville.
Creature.
I had monster.
I know, I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
But it's flowed nice because the seas.
Okay, yeah. Who do you
think?
Yeah.
I think that the Flatwoods monster would win this one. Doesn't take much to pop one of those balloons, you know?
It's just...
They're so fragile and thin to float that high into the atmosphere. You could throw a rock
the
at it.
pungent mist of the Flatwoods monster would
be
pop
enough to pop the balloon. Yeah.
Pop the balloon. Pop the bubble. Jesus Christ, it's Bubble Buddy. How did I not see this until now? I think I'd agree with you on Flatwoods monster.
I wanted to make an argument for the atmospheric beasts, but I don't. Other than like being carnivorous, which the Flatwoods monster is like pretty seemingly metal.
Like devil horns?
Yeah,
or
like metal.
Like physically made of steel.
He seemed to be made of metal. Like,
okay, yeah.
Like robotic. So I don't think that...
Like the robot alien nun?
Yes. I don't think the atmospheric beast could like eat that.
Yeah, I would agree. But why don't you head over to social media, let us know what you think about that situation, who you think the winner would be. That will be on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links to all those are in the description. We asked the same thing last week about
the Flatwoods monster and organism 46B,
also known as the Vostok monster. Yes. What did the people say?
All right. On Facebook, 60% of the votes went towards the Vostok monster.
Okay.
So the remaining 40 over there on Flatwoods. Twitter saw... Just Twitter astounds me. Every fucking time I read these things, like, completely in the opposite direction of both Facebook and Twitter. Twitter had 29% vote for 46B, and the Flatwood Monsters won that one out with 71%. And on Instagram, that was our highest amount of voters. So thank you, Instagram. 65% voted for 46B, and 35% voted for the Flatwoods Monster.
46B win flat out then?
I believe so.
So organism 46B.
The winner. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, I think that's who we voted for. Ended up on.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy with those results. Other than Twitter, get your shit together.
Or start showing your work.
Yeah, please. Send me some links and be like, yeah, check this out, though.
What do we got on the Instagram poll that we posted at the beginning? Are cryptids clouds?
Are cryptids clouds?
Also, why are you catching on to Huge Snake?
Because he exposed himself on Facebook.
Oh, so you know who he is now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Gotcha, bitch. We had a good amount of votes today. 6 voted for yes, and 4 voted for no.
What do you think? We should have got into that first. Are clouds cryptids?
I want them to be.
If I landed on yes on this one, I'm gonna say yes, because if these things appear to be clouds, and like how often do you like really just stare at a cloud? What if you just like stare at a cloud for 2 hours and then all of a sudden it starts doing something weird?
Flapping its wings.
I've never stared at a cloud for 2 hours. Who the fuck's got time for that? Jesus Christ, Connor.
Just flapping my wings over here.
Just throwing your vape around.
I would like to add this comment. It's actually a message from mxckxy.x. They're actually government spies like the birds. Fucking amen. Fuck the birds.
Clouds are government spies.
Spot on.
Excellent. Is that why DARPA is trying to control the weather?
Just control the birds.
Well, I mean, I don't... Head over to social media. Let us know what you think about this one. Fucking go answer this week's polls wherever. If we missed something major on this, please let us know. I mean, this one's super interesting. Like I said, I'm going to continue to like actively look into this one, I think, because I'm super interested.
There was a plethora of information.
It's
a plethora of stories.
Sea of stories.
A sky full of stories. A sail full? I don't know.
No, a sky full makes sense. A sky swimming with stories.
That's it.
An abundance of aerial anomalies.
Ooh, that's good. I got nothing else.
A questionable continuation of intercontinental creatures. I know the first one is a Q and it doesn't really make sense, but it sounds phonetic.
I'm into it.
Fuck it.
Check out Atmospheric Beasts and Counting Cryptids on all your favorite social media sites, except for the crappy ones.
Yeah, only on your favorites.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Facebook should maybe be last on that list now.
Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
I think a lot of people are getting
Twitter,
off of Facebook.
Instagram.
It's like, I fucking
Discord.
put that shit in. Yeah, Discord's cool. That's where you can find me. I don't have social media of my own.
Anywhere else you're interacting with me.
I stalk from the background the other social media. Like
Yeah.
I see things that are happening and Connor will send me things. Speaking of which, there is a new Facebook review that
yes,
we forgot
there
to
is.
read.
We're saving this for the very end because it's the best.
I am quite active on Discord.
More
There's a
active
couple
than me,
people over
actually.
who will fucking vouch for me.
All right. Facebook recommendation from Baker. He says, frequent 1 to 2 hour trips for work. These guys are awesome. Between the humor and drinking games and fake/real creatures, it makes the days go by quicker. It's going to suck when I actually catch up to the current podcast, but finishing up season 1 now, and they're epic, maybe legendary.
Hey, thank you. I feel like season 2 has been going better than season 1. I feel like the last 3, maybe 4 episodes, I have felt pretty confident in when releasing, and the numbers have also been fucking astounding. So thank you everybody for listening. I do really appreciate it. Again, fucking get active. Come talk to us on social media. Fucking
write a review for sure.
Come chat on Discord. Fucking just, even if you just want to let us know how you heard the podcast or something, because we've had 2 record-breaking months in a row. Like the first one was like a decent number bigger than our previous one in
the next one
March, and then April just fucking
blew it out of the water.
Exploded like fucking double what our previous highest month had been ever. I don't know what's going on, but thank you guys for listening, and fucking come tell us how you heard the podcast or whatever. I don't know if
heard about you from some other podcast,
I don't know if it's the kind of thing that's just like because we changed a couple of things around or started doing tags differently, or if somebody like mentioned us somewhere, or what the fucking deal is. But like, I don't understand.
Like, it's pretty hard to track down from our end because we change things almost constantly. Like, things are hopefully improving, but definitely changing at between every episode. But if there's somewhere else you heard us, like a podcast or an article, or
somebody in a comment on something, Just Reddit. Randomly, some comment on YouTube. I was like, "What is this thing?" And then just found you guys. I was like, "Oh, this is funny. Cool. I'll stick around."
Thanks for fucking sticking around.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate it.
All right, enough praising our audience.
We love you. Go over to social media and answer this week's polls. I've said it 1,000 times, but do it.
But do it.
But do it.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks again, everybody. Love you.
Peace.